How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. A bit of an informal video today as I'm reacting to the CFL rule changes that were just announced by the league today. I'm going to talk about all those different changes. But really quickly before we get started, if you want to support the channel, the best way to do it is by hitting the like button and subscribing to SC's Huddle for more CFL content just like this. I greatly appreciate it, everybody. And I also want to remind everybody that on Tuesday, May the 3rd, next week, at 6:30 p.m. around then, I'm going to be going live on YouTube for the CFL draft, the entirety of the CFL draft. Going to be a really long stream. Hope everyone can come and keep me company for that. I would really appreciate that, everybody. And with that said, let's get on with the video. Okay, so as you can see on the board, there are three main areas that the league has made changes for this offseason. And one of them has been talked about a lot throughout this offseason and really started getting traction over the last couple of months here. And that is the hash mark discussion. And they officially have moved in the hash marks. This has been discussed the last several months here. And the idea with this one is that it will reduce the width of the field on that wide side of the field to really open up the passing game. In recent years in the CFL, we've seen quarterbacks not want to throw to that area of the field, that wide corner throw on the wide side of the field. To be honest, the quality of quarterback is not the same as we have seen in the past in the CFL. 10 years ago, we had a whole bunch of Hall of Famers in the CFL. But right now, there's not many guys in the league that can make that throw, in my opinion, and do it on a consistent basis. And that is if the offenses actually let them. I think that this is a really good move because it will make it an easier game to quarterback. And quarterbacks are the lifeblood of the CFL or any football league in general. So having good quarterback play is going to really help the CFL. And I think this could really open up the game and make sure that all areas of the field are being utilized by CFL offenses. You can also argue it from a different angle as well because teams may be willing to throw more to that wide side of the field. We may see more pick sixes and more chances taken in games, and I think that is ideal for everybody and the entertainment product of the CFL. So I'm happy they put this rule change into effect, and I'm excited to see what impact it has on the league next season. Now, the second thing on the board here, and before I go further, I want to say that I got a lot of this information from Dave Naylor, a reporter at TSN, did a big article about that up on TSN. I'll link that down in the description below if you want to see all the details about the changes and what's going to be changing this year. But one big change that the league is going to be making next year is that all no yards penalties are now going to be 15 yards instead of 5 yards that it could possibly been before. The difference was if the ball was caught during the air and somebody was in the 5-yard halo zone, then it was a 15-yard penalty, which was the most severe version of no yards. But there was also a 5-yard variety of the penalty if the returner let it bounce first. So if the ball was already touching the ground and then the returner touches the ball and somebody was in the 5-yard zone, it's only a 5-yard penalty, which is really not a big detriment to the kicking team in that scenario because you know, you don't want to risk a big return in the CFL. 5 yards is really nothing on a CFL field, relatively speaking. So I think this is a really good change as well. It incentivizes more space for returners, and I'm really excited to see what effect it could have. And if you see, you know, still no yards penalties happening at a consistent basis, I think that it could really help offenses because you'll help them gain even more field position to start drives. Now, the third area you're going to see changes in the CFL this season in 2022 is actually to kickoffs. Kickoffs will be moved back 5 yards, and the idea here is that offenses will have better starting field position. And it's funny enough, the NFL has done the opposite in recent years, but the difference is that the NFL has a touchback that doesn't penalize a team for giving up the knee in the end zone. And so in the CFL context, I think moving back the kickoff makes a lot of sense to help offenses gain a little bit extra edge. And this is really smart moves, I think, overall, in terms of all of these changes, because it changes things on the margin. You haven't changed anything too fundamental yet about the CFL that you haven't compromised it to a huge degree. So I think this, along with the other changes I discussed before, make a lot of sense. And then another thing that they also changed is that after a successful field goal in the CFL, you can start the drive. You have the option to either get a kickoff or start it at your own 35. Now, instead of the 35, when you take that option, you'll actually get it at the 40-yard line. Again, a little bit extra yardage to help the offenses, have an opportunity to get the ball in scoring positions faster and, kind of speed up the game in that respect. And speaking of speeding up the game, they're actually going to be improving the communication between the refs and the coaches so that they eliminate a lot of that downtime when they run to the sideline on a big CFL field. It could take even longer than it would in an NFL game to call in a penalty. There's not many details about how those communication improvements are going to reduce downtime, but I think any changes, if they do exist, is going to be really great for the CFL because that is one of the biggest things that we have as a negative when watching a lot of CFL games in recent years is just the amount of time that is wasted in terms of getting balls spotted, in terms of, calling in, accepting, declining penalties. I think that kind of thing can be really improved, and I really think any step towards helping that and improving the speed of the game is going to be a benefit to the CFL. So I really like that they are exploring and recognize that that is a problem. So those are the major rule changes that were announced today by the CFL. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you want to support the channel, the best way to do it is by hitting the like button and subscribing to USC's Huddle for more CFL content just like this. I greatly appreciate it, everybody. And again, I'll link that Dave Naylor article with all the details about the rule changes and all the other little things that were changed. I didn't mention everything in this video, but Dave has it in that article. And so I appreciate everybody for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.